It's here. Sim update number 4. Sim update number 4. Yeah, where shall we start actually? There are tons of fixes and additions to it. Mainly fixes, which is kind of normal for sim updates. So let's start with the navigation piece, right? So the AIRAC cycle 2105 has been implemented, which adds the latest AIRAC information based on the 2105 cycle. That's due to the integration Asobo / Microsoft has with a third party. So that's great. Also, the FAA data has been implemented to the nav data solution. In addition to that, one thing which I really want to welcome is the departure gates they are now saved in the flight plans, which was previously not the case, which made it, I would say, kind of weird because you started already at some other spaces in some scenarios. Looks like that the guys from Asobo also did a lot of work on the live air traffic, because you can see multiple updates have been done. So they increase the density of the live air traffic. They make sure that the wrong or that the correct model is being shown instead of the wrong model. And they also improved the stability. So I'm really looking forward to see if that really has improved. Also the HC phraseology improvements to FAA standards, so the wording only. So I'm not sure if that also includes the speech in that case. Next section where a lot of improvements were made is the weather. The first one is that they reduced the bandwidth required for the weather data. To be honest, I'm not looking specifically at how much the bandwidth used, but that's because I've got a fair use policy, so I don't care about the bandwidth being used. But I can imagine that some other people do care about it. In addition to that, there are a lot of improvements specifically for the icing and the snow piece, as you can see, which results in I would say weird situations. I recorded a video yesterday where I was also hit by icing, and it looks like that they really made some improvements there. It looks like that you can't simply it doesn't ignore the outside of the frost conditions. It has some accelerated pitot icing model while making it slower to defrost. So it looks like that they're making it harder to get off the icing, which looks like, to me, it's more realistic. And then we've got the planes. Well, where shall we start? Because there are tons of changes and improvement points for the planes. So the first one is they made sure that the pitch hold mode works correctly. Also, there are several improvement points specifically for waypoint removal and the Sim Connect injected traffic. It should now be displayed in HTML JavaScript instruments that have traffic displays, as well as on the VFR map. So that makes sure that you can see both the traffic in the VFR map, but also in the displays in your favorite aircraft. In addition to that, flaps were polished again. Won't go to all the single items because you can read them yourself. And they fixed now an issue where audio was not playing on larger aircraft. And in this last, I would say, general improvement point, the auto throttle sometimes was disabled by artificial intelligence. Then we're coming to the turboprops. Based on this list, it looks like that almost every turboprop has, I would say, been updated. At least the last ones, like the TBM 930. Here you see the King Air 350 India and the Cessna 208 Bravo. Those are the three ones which I observed. But other than that, there are also adjustments made to the Cessna 152 and 172, if I'm correct, if you scroll down the list. So a lot of improvement points, specifically looking at the engines, as it looks like, also the stability, and the RPM, and the ITT, which is used to measure the heat, is also fixed. Didn't observe any issues there, to be honest. Other fixes for the airplanes, weather radar has improved, and here you can see the Cessna 152 and the 172 and Cessna 152 both have improvements. They fixed some issues where it was not touching the ground, and multiple other issues. One of the things which you need to be aware of, that the ICAS has been updated for the default A320, so not the A320 and X1. Climb has now changed to CL, so be aware of that. It has been updated. In addition to that, there are some other improvement points for propellers, and I'm not sure why they put it in this direction. You would expect that they would have split it up into different sections, but hey, who cares? As long as they update it and fixing our issues, that's the most important thing. Both the G1000 and G3000 have now fixes. To be honest, I'm using the updated G3000 from a working title, so can't really compare if it has been fixed, but maybe the working title is using the default G3000 pieces under the hood. They fixed the flight plans, especially with the Direct 2 options. You can see crazy amount of stuff here also. Then we're coming to the input, and the input, there are several issues resolved for multiple devices. As you can see, that fixed default mappings for most of them. Also making sure that the unresponsive specific access on the honeycomb Bravo throttle is being fixed. And there's an issue fixed where the peripheral input position when the user exits the pause menu is fixed. From UI perspective, there's the community folder add-ons, which is now being part of the content manager. I will show it in a few minutes. And for all the developers, keep an eye on all the changes which have been made to the development kit. There are some interesting spots for the Xbox, spotted it somewhere, I'm not sure where. I read it. There were some enhancements. Wait, here it is, for example. So it looks like that they're very close to release of the Xbox version, but we need to wait a little bit longer. In addition to that, individual fixes for the scenery editor and the aircraft editor, which are there. And there's a new sim variable, gear skidding factor for Sim Connect, which is great. Now there's one known issue. If you are using the VR mode, then you need to be aware of an issue which is currently being investigated, which is probably caused by the OpenXR preview runtime V106. So be aware of that. There is, I would say, a recommendation, and they say, okay, revert back to the official runtime version, which is V105. So now we completed the long list, and I think this is a pretty long list. I cannot remember if the previous sim update was this big. Let's switch to Flight Simulator itself. So one of the things which you need to do is you need to check your profile. Initially this might be empty, but don't be scared, it will fix itself. And then go to the content manager, because the content manager has 30 updates. It looks like that these are the updates described in the release notes, because you can see all aircrafts being shown here. So be aware that you do not only need to install the update, but also the updates for the aircrafts. In addition to that, we can go to the installed versions. Let me go to that. Let's go back and let's go into it from scratch. Inside this list, according to the release notes, now there should be also the custom add-ons. So let's scroll a little bit down, further down. This was all default, as far as I know. Also all default. So no changes here. All Asobo. So it's kind of weird, because they said that in the UI that they added stuff. Oh, here it is. So it looks like that on the bottom of the list you can see a new version here, which is called Community, which shows you all the add-ons which you installed. You can check the AI from India, but it says simply waiting. I think that the functionality being, I would say, added to validate if there really is an update is not really there. You can imagine there's some prerequisites for you to make the functionality work. So that's all fine. So based on that, I would say let's start flying. But of course, that's up to you. I'm not gonna show it in this new video about this sim update 4, which contains a lot of updates. So let me know what your experience is with it. Please use the comment box below the video for that. Here ends this video. If you liked it, then use the like button. And if you got questions or comments, then again use the comment box below the video. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.